Kenal buat semua para partisipan. Untuk acara akan kami mulai sekitar 20.05 waktu Indonesia dan 3.05 waktu Malaysia. Terima kasih. Pak, untuk acara saya mulai sekarang ya. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we're about to begin, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this webinar. Kindly ensure your microphone in Zoom is mute to avoid interruptions. Thank you for your keen cooperation and attention to this. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today webinar on the topic facing the changing business world in the future world era. I'm Novita from Stekom University in Indonesia, your host for today. And welcome to our special guest today. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Unang Adlison as a Dean of Bachelor Degree from Stekom University in Indonesia. And to the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Cordelia Mason as a Director Yayasan University Kuala Lumpur from Malaysia. And to the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Umi Nai Emma Sarai as a Head of Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability from University Malaysia Perlis. And to the Honorable Mr. Dr. Priyadi as a Lecturer of Computer Programming and Artificial Intelligence from Stekom University in Indonesia. Thank you all for being here with us today. Also, thank you for all participants for attending this webinar. We hope you will learn a lot of today. We have lined up for you to be fruitful and engaging. Okay, before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes here. Today's session is being live streamed on Universitas Stekom YouTube channel. Okay, further for the square of this morning agenda, we will open with the Indonesian national anthems and continue with the opening speech by Dr. Unang Adlison. And after this session, we will go to for time a picture. And the next time for the presentation by our special guest today we have. And after the presentation has ended, we will go to in Q&A session for our audience, and then time is closing. Yeah, if you have any question for the speaker, please add them in the chat and we'll be able to answer some of the during the Q&A session after our presentation. And each presentation today will have about 30 minutes for the presentation. And then a glimpse for the agenda today event. And to start today event, we will listen Indonesia national anthem. So for Mr. Solikan, you can start this. Thank you. Okay, thank you for Mr. Solikan. And for the next session, we will go to Dr. Unang Atlison as a Dean of Bachelor Degree. Yeah, for Dr. Unam, the time is yours for opening speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Novita. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Una Alison, and I am a lecturer too in Stockholm University. The honorable our speakers today, Assistant Professor Dr. Cordelia Mason, as Director Yayasan University Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And then Assistant Professor Dr. Umi Najima Sarai as Head Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability of University Malaysia, Perlis. Also, Master Priyadi as Lecturer of Computer Programming and Artificial Intelligence of Stockholm University, Indonesia. And also the honorable all students and all audience. Ladies and gentlemen, may I first take this occasion to pay tribute to all of the audience of this webinar, international event with the title Facing the Changing Business World in the UCA World Era, that is held by Stockholm University in collaboration with University Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia and University Malaysia, Paris. It is a great pleasure and an honor for me or for us to deliver a welcome remark at the opening of this webinar international event. May I first take this opportunity to express my gratitude and appreciation, as well as extend a cordial welcome to all of the audience, in particular all the speaker of today's event. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our God, a blessing and mercy that we could assemble in this international webinar, facing the changing business world in the PUCA era. The Honorable all speaker guests today and all audience. I would like to say thank you very much to all speakers that you will present insightful ideas according to your field of experiences in this reputation, and it is a great pleasure to welcome all of you to this webinar. I believe that our speaker will improve knowledge and experiences of all participants and provide significant scientific contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope through this webinar international event, we can get more information about facing the changing business world in the UCA world era. I would like to extend my appreciation to the International Affairs Organization of Stockholm University for making this webinar. And finally, I wish you to enjoy the lecture today. Let's pray that all of effort remain in the blessing of God. Thank you. And the time back to Ms. Novita. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for Dr. Unang. And before we start a session, let us take a photo together. Ya, bagi para peserta, kita akan memulai sesi foto bersama. Jadi diharapkan untuk menyalakan kamera. And so everyone, please open your camera. Let's take a picture. I will take a picture in count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Another one. Satu kali lagi. 1, 2, smile. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your keen cooperation. Now, let's please welcome our first speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Umi Naima Sarai as the Head Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainable from University Malaysia Perlis. Yeah, for Associate Professor Dr. Umi, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Novita. Okay, let me project my slide first, yeah. I thought I was the second presenter. Okay, so is my slide can be seen now?
Yes, we can see it, ma'am.
Okay, okay. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to you and all of the top management from STECOM for letting me be one of the participants in today's webinar. Okay, my name is Umi Naima binti Sarai. Sarai is actually my father's name. I am the associate professor of one of the public university in Malaysia called University Malaysia Perlis or UNIMAP. We are in the northern region of Malaysia. And I just newly appointed as the head for one of the Center of Excellence in UNIMAP called Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability, or COISIS in short, since September 2020. So it means that even though I'm going to talk about how to relate leadership and VUCA world, however, this is more based on the theoretical perspective, yeah. Even though actually I am serve University Malaysia Police since 2002, it means like 20 years back. However, by that time, I was the administrative officer in 2002, and then I did continue my study, master and PhD as a part-timer. Then only by January 2015, I am first appointed as one of the faculty member in UNIMAP. So to not further ado, okay, I would like to try mapping my presentation today with the theme of your webinar. So I would like to put the title of my presentation, Living in VUCA World, How Academic Leaders Can Navigate the New Normal. All right, so here is the outline of my presentation. I will start on introduction, where did VUCA come from? And then we are going to look on leaders navigating VUCA. How can we do as academic leaders? And academic leaders here is not only relevant to the top management in the university, however, all of those coordinator for program and also the committee, right? Can be relate to play a role as the academic leader. And after that, we are going to look on the roles of followers also. What can be taken by followers in the VUCA world. And last but not least, I would like to conclude my presentation. What can be done in HEI, especially by change our mindset shift and try to do a collaboration between both leaders and followers. Okay, here as for the introduction, where did VUCA come from? Okay, the acronym of VUCA was first used in the US Army War College in 1987. So it was publicly published in 1991 by Professor Herbert F. Barber in one of the Emerald Journal with the title Developing Strategic Leadership, the US Army War College Experience. Okay, actually, I tried to find the screenshot of the front page of that journal on the left side. And according to Prof. Barber, he stated that War College derived these ideas from the writings of one book wrote by Warren Bennis and Bert Nemeth in their book entitled Leaders, The Strategies for Taking Charge in 1985. I also did not read the whole of this book, right? But I just find some of the information that I didn't provide all of the sources, but all are from the valid sources that I take and try to share with all of you. So what is meant by VUCA? So it is actually come from the word volatility, uncertainty for you, and then complexity and ambiguity. So this is a very trending managerial acronym. And at the same time, in order to face the challenges of the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and also ambiguity, there are some of the remedies or VUCA acronym also that can be called as the responses in order to overcome the challenges that have been brought by the first VUCA: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and also ambiguity. All right, so if you look at the first letter that V, volatility, it refers to the rate, amount, and magnitude of change. So the next one, uncertainty or U, it is the amount of unpredictability inherent in issues and events. The next letter refer to C or complexity, right? I guess most of us already well known about this. And it refers to the amount of dependency and interactive effect of multiple factors and drivers. Therefore, in order to let us can do the most accurate decision, there are several angles and multiple factors that we need to bear in mind before we try to make the best decision that try to lessen the disadvantage to our community. And the last one, the capital A, is referred to ambiguity, where that is the degree to which information, situation, and events can be interpreted in multiple ways. And according to ambiguity, actually, there are no right or accurate action that we can take, but we try to make it as optimum as the best as we can, because we are all facing with the ambiguity in our future and challenges. So the next slide is still about the math of VUCA. Volatile can be put in the statement: the situation is understandable but not predictable. The nature, speed, volume, and magnitude of the change are great. The next one, uncertain, is about the understanding of impact exists. Information is not readily available at all times, and we are also have a lack of ability to predict. And the next C refer to complex or many interrelated parts. And we need to see all of these situations as using the helicopter view. So it can be predicted. However, it also might bring the massive impact when chaos meet issue with management that need to be handled by all of the leader, especially also the academic leader in HAI cannot run away from managing this. And the last one is ambiguous. There is no previous experience. We don't know what we don't know, and hazy reality and mixed meaning. However, the ambiguity sometimes, if we refer to leaders, they also have different perspective, because all leaders also have different personality, different upbringing, different experience that they have been in their life. So we cannot have a very similar type of decision that applicable to all, because the challenges, the personality of that leader or even follower never be the same between one to another person. So nowadays, is VUCA still relevant? In terms of VUCA has been around for a quite while, 1987. So it has been about 3 decades to be precise, right? If people ask me, and based on my readings, okay, it is still relevant, especially after we all have to face with the COVID-19 pandemic. All right. So the VUCA world with an impact and all of the level of COVID-19 pandemic has never appeared earlier. So of course, there are differentiation between the pre and post pandemic, and VUCA is something that can be the principle that we can hold on by the time we are facing with a very big and challenging and also a chaos scenario by facing with VUCA, facing with COVID pandemic. So now in the new normal, of course, we are still facing with the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Therefore, in the context of HEI also, unprecedented access to knowledge, 24 hours news, viral stories, and ever expanding social network and media also make the volatile, the story goes up and down. And also we are facing with the inability to know everything, the lack of predictability and likelihood of the surprise event. We might not know what will be happen after this, right? But based on our experience, we need to prepare ourselves to be more dominant and strength in taking the most accurate decision in the future. Okay, the next one is complex. Still in the context of HEI, the multiple of forces, the chaos and confusion that surround an organization or environment. I just would like to take an example. By the time you are facing with COVID, all of the university need to be closed and the teaching and learning need to be temporarily stopped. Right. So by that time, what figure in my mind is just to need us all to depend on what we call it in the term of digital technology or digitalization. Okay, even though I am not having the expertise in digital technology, but by the time you are facing with COVID pandemic, I just noticed and realized, and based on several of the article, digital technology is something that cannot be run away. So to try minimize the impact of the COVID-19 scenario, especially in the context of HEI, to make sure that we can remotely see our students and continue our meetings and do all of the discussion. And the last one and biggest is still differences in interpretation when contextual clues are insufficient to clarify meaning. So here in the context of HEI, even though in the new normal, the post-pandemic situation, all of these need to be blended, okay? All are mixed around. We need to do the assessment philosophy, and maybe by this time, since all of the country, many of the country have declared to the endemic, I think and I guess most of us agree that we now need to depend more on the technology, okay, digital technology, in order to make sure that we can strengthen what we have before the pandemic. So if you look here, I try to bring one of the example challenges in HEI, higher education institution due to pandemic. Learning came to a halt. Massive disruption in functioning of universities across the world, shortage of trained lecturers, right? No internet connectivity, especially in the rural areas, and no effective policies regarding changing from the traditional to the digital age method. And also we have some language and content challenges, also the poor maintenance and digital equipment, and the most important is we are having insufficient fund, right, to make sure that all of this can be operated as normal. So that's why during the pandemic, if we relate ourselves to the digital technology, right, and this is a way that we can take as the potential areas to make sure all of the operation in the university can be continued. That's why nowadays, since we are already in the post-pandemic situation, the online teaching and learning, examination and evaluation, and so forth, until the faculty development program need to be enforced and need to be implementation as good as we can by using the online or remotely method. All right. So how leaders can navigate VUCA? Of course, just like just now, there are 4 capitals of VUCA related to the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguous. So there are still 4 clues to make sure that we can lessen the challenges that we need to face in future by using the similar acronym. It's referred to the vision, okay, and understanding. The third one is clarity, and the fourth one is agility. So in order to make sure the volatility is going, can be decreased, so we need to have a clear vision. We need to execute the clear objective of the organization. And also the uncertainty, we need to understand which one need to be take as the priority. And also the complexity need to be counted back by having the clarity of matters that we are facing with. And the last one is the agility to ensure that the ambiguity can be lessened. Okay, now, if you are look on the first V that reflects on vision, the communication is one of the elements. For example, relentlessly communicate a sense of purpose and lead followers towards it. And then we need to believe in yourself, and others supported by fact and figures. Sometimes if leaders only have a good kind of vision, but he or she fail to convince the followers to together with the management in order to fulfill that vision, so it might not be happen successfully. So the third one is to focus, ensure your followers' effort are aligned and focus on the right areas. Therefore, even though we have a very very good vision, right, and can make the performance at peak, but we need to make sure that it was delivered and implemented to all of the followers of staff in the faculty. So the next one is understanding. Okay, this is to avoid the uncertainty level that happen and be one of the challenge in the VUCA and challenging world of scenario today. So I also highlighted 3 elements. The first one is curiosity. So we need to ask questions that challenge the status quo in our institution every day. And at the same time, we need to have the empathy, get where followers are coming from. So try to understand why at some part our followers maybe disagree with our statement or with our argument, right? So try to be in their shoes. And the third one is to be open-minded, explore new ideas, reflect and seek constructive criticism. Even though sometimes if we got the say or words from our followers, sometimes they are the parties that engage internally with that problem. So it may be the base for them to raise out their problem, and this is the time for leader to try understand and make sure that both leaders and also followers have a win-win and agreement towards one of the problem that need to be solved. So the third one is clarity. I also try to find 3 elements under clarity to make sure that the challenges regarding complexity in this challenging world can be lessened. So the first one is simplify, to cut through the intricacy and get to the essence of the core, okay, make it clear. And logical reasoning, sometimes we need to got the fact and figure to support all of our action and that we would like all of the members to follow. So support with fact and figure. However, sometimes the intuition might work, hence trust your experience. Okay, this is because based on the experience, sometimes maybe we might have one of the say that might be benefit to all of the parties. And the last one is system thinking. Approach problem from a holistic perspective. It means that even though we are trying to get the things not so complex and complicated, but we still need to be on top to look on all of the problem in the view of helicopter. So we need to look around. Okay, the last one is agility. It is referred to the decisiveness, decide the verdict based on the best option that able to optimize benefit for all parties. Because sometimes we cannot make sure that all are satisfied with our decision, but try to make it as many as the person are satisfied with the action that we are going to take. And also need to do a fast adaptation, adapt quickly to changing circumstances and learn from previous mistake. All right, maybe I would like to bring one of the example. In the usage of technology, maybe by that time, the pandemic, we are choosing one of the online platform, right? And then if we found that platform is not so applicable to all of the level of members in our organization or society, so we need to fast adapt and try to change to the new one. Okay, and also empower, value network over hierarchy, collaboration over control, and set followers free to do great work. Because sometimes, in order to achieve one of the objective or KPI, there are some kind of leader that want the followers to fulfill their step-by-step action. But I guess we just let them free to take what kind of step, even they can do what kind of step as long as they can fulfill the similar objective. All right. And as long as the step is not contradict to the rules and regulation, just let the followers do that kind of thing. And the aim is just to fulfill the objective that we place at first. Okay, that is 4 of the VUCA remedies, right, that can be taken by the leader. So now let us look on what can be taken by followers in Realize the VUCA World. Here is some of the, I got 5. Later on, I will look at the chat. Okay, so roles of followers in VUCA World. I'm trying to get 5 of the point here. The first one is the challenger of wrongdoing. The second one is supporters of leaders' vision and effort. The third one is inculcate open and honest feedback. The fourth one is appreciator of effective leadership. And the fifth one is inculcate operation. So now let's look at the first one, the challenger of wrongdoing. Great followers are not afraid to challenge the leader when they think the leader is making a mistake or going down the wrong path. So I think as a follower also, if we found that there are something that not on the right track, so I think we have words that we can use the best to tell our leaders about it. Okay, because sometimes maybe as a leader, they have a lot of things to done, okay, to make it clear and to solve. Maybe there are several mistakes that is not realized by them. So as a good followers, I think we are also need to take the responsibility to let our leaders know about it. Okay, the next one, supporters of leaders' vision and effort. So great followers support the leaders' vision and effort. Great followers also execute and intended strategies of the leaders as planned. So they will become the spokesperson of the leaders to the rest of the colleagues. So if this can be done, I think the recovery stage can be done earlier because we have the agreement for all of the members of the faculties of other institution. So the next one, inculcate open and honest feedback. Great followers encourage the leader to provide honest feedback about his or her performance. Okay, this improve mutual trust between the leader and the follower. And one of the important things, in order to be honest, we need to make sure that our words that we use, okay, is right and is appropriate enough to make sure that people can deeply or truly accept our encouragement. And by welcoming open and honest feedback, the follower build a mentor-mentee relationship with the leader. The fourth one is appreciator of effective leadership. So every leader wants to know that their efforts are making an impact and that they are appreciated. So once a while, it will not be a wrong if as a follower we also give a good word to our leader, and it is not in the form of ingratitude. So it is come just sincerely from the follower. The very act of showing appreciation and praise by the follower helps to reinforce desirable, effective leadership practices by the leader. And the last one, inculcate cooperation. Great followers strive to make the working environment a conducive one. They inculcate cooperation and build trust among each other. So great followers realize that teamwork and cooperation is the basis of organization performance. I think this is the last action that can be taken by followers in order to support the element of VUCA, especially in the context of higher education institution. And here comes of the conclusion parts. Okay, mindset shift towards VUCA is crucial and should be led by academic leaders. And this is not also happen between leaders and followers, because for example, in the marriage life also, even though the husband will become the leader, but at the same time, the wife as the follower and the other family member need also to serve that, or to what we call it, to support any kind of action that have been made by leader. So adaptive leader in HCI should serve as a living example of how one can thrive with a shift in mindset. If we talk about mindset, it also comes with another 3 integration of mindset, tool set, and also skill set. All right. So I believe that most of you have heard about mindset, skill set, and tool set. So at the same time, followers must keep an open mind and remain adaptable in the new normal. So the second conclusion that can be wrapped up based on this presentation, in a VUCA world, the most important thing is to anticipate the future and to strengthen cooperation between both leader and follower in the HCI. Decision and connection are success factors for shaping the common cause. So, as another wrap up of my presentation, the integration of mindset in changing our mind, the skill set in upgrading ourselves to be competent, proficient, and by able to do something, and the tool set. And this one, I would like to relate with one example, like digital technology. So the digital method need to be utilized is the changing way on how we can see VUCA by enhancing the element of this mindset, skill set, and tool set. So if we depend on the VUCA, therefore, and inject some of the element of digital technology based on our experience when facing with COVID. So this is the example of how VUCA can be practiced and be the principle of most of the academic leaders in the HCI. So I think this is all for my presentation. I would like to call upon any collaboration between our university, especially from faculty member in STECOM, and also from Dr. Cordelia Mason, right? I guess that Dr. Cordelia have more of the useful tips to be shared because she is one of the practitioner. Meanwhile, I'm just giving my perception in terms of theoretical. So if you do have any interest in collaborate with us in UNIMED, here are the contact number and also the email address where you can get me in touch. That's all for my presentation, and thank you very much. So, shall I start my presentation now?
Okay, thank you so much for Dr. Professor Umi. Yeah. For everyone, why is important to understand VUCA? By understanding the meaning of VUCA, all form of potential threats related to management can be anticipated, as well as being able to make a recovery plan from adversity. Thank you so much for your presentation, Professor Umi Nai Emma.
Yeah,
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Yeah. And then we will go to the second question. This is Associate Professor Dr. Cordelia Mason, as a Director Yayasan University Kuala Lumpur from Malaysia. Yeah, for Professor Cordelia, the time is yours. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much to the Dean, Professor Unang, and also to AP, Dr. Umi Naima, for the very lovely presentation. I have this whole thing here, like a map of the notes that I made based on the presentation given by AP Dr. Umi. As maybe I recap a bit so that I can, my session would be like a follow-up to what Dr. Umi has already presented. It's very interesting that Dr. Umi actually chose to tell the story of VUCA from the point of view of leadership and follow worship, right? So and we've learned a lot of things from Dr. Umi. So I will not repeat what VUCA means, etc. But I would need some commitment from the audience today so that we can actually learn something together. Yeah. So I've decided to use a different approach. I will share my screen. Yeah. I'll share my screen. And I think it's here. Is it this one? Right. Just a moment, yeah. Okay. All right. So before I start, I'd like to introduce myself and the organization that I work for. I'm Cordelia Mason, and I work for the Yayasan Uni KL, which is a foundation of the University of Kuala Lumpur. So basically, when we do three things, yeah, in our yayasan or foundation, and one thing is to provide scholarship, the second is to help the needy, and the third is actually to promote leadership and entrepreneurship skills among students and our other stakeholders. Yeah. So when I was given this task of speaking and on this topic, yeah, facing the changing business world in the VUCA world era. And we know VUCA very well now, thanks to Dr. Umi. And so I'd like to actually look at the words one by one before I go to my one and only slide after this. Yeah. So when we look at the word facing, it means all of us here, including if we have other listeners on the Facebook or whatever, that means facing means how do you manage, yeah, changes in the business world, and within the encompassing the business world is the VUCA world. That means a world that has previously been described by Dr. Umi thoroughly. Yeah. So for this session, for my talk, I have about half an hour, right? 3:30 to about 4. I will get you to interact with these three things. How do we face the VUCA world within a business context? Yeah. So this is what I'm going to do. Let me see. I'll go to the next slide. Yeah. So I've decided that in order for us to deliberate on this topic, yeah, of VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguous, we can use stories, yeah, because I'm actually doing a lot of storytelling, case writing. So I'd like to engage with all of you for us so that we can actually patch and do a jigsaw, yeah. So when we talk about volatility, when we talk about the VUCA elements, yeah, one thing that we can look at when we look at the business world as the setting, we know that businesses face VUCA in many ways. And in a very academic context, VUCA actually relates a lot to risk and risk management. So if you think about volatility, the first thing that comes to mind would be the stock market, right? The stock market is very volatile, and yet people are still doing a lot of stock holding activities. Yeah, people buy stocks all the time, and it's because of the VUCA world that, you know, the stock price will go up and down. But we know in finance, for instance, that there is this beta risk. Yeah, beta risks are predictable risks that is already known, and that I think is already a better, how do we say it? Yeah, the beta risk is becoming larger and larger through predictive science. So there are lots of things that the computer technology can help us unVUCA, make it less volatile, make it less uncertain, and make it less complex, and make it less ambiguous. Yeah. In fact, today, I'm one of the board of examiners for the Asian Institute of Chartered Banking, and today we were talking about in our meeting today on the fact that risk management, the curriculum for risk management, for instance, has changed a lot, because banking as sector itself is facing VUCA very, very harshly, because people are talking about, are we going to see banks as they were before? As we move on. And in the last 5 years, when we have financial technologies, etc., all this fintech related development, So when we think about that, we no longer go to the banks to do banking. So that is one outcome of this very volatile, but it's not volatile if we think about it, because that comes with the development of IT, which Dr. Umi has also touched upon a bit just now, with digitalization, etc. All these things are advancement in the field of business. So going back to my slide here, I would like to invite everyone. If I get 5, I will continue my talk. I would like you to write on the chat. Maybe you can name 5 companies in Indonesia. 5 biggest company. Let's think about it. Can you name 5 biggest company in Indonesia or in Malaysia? It doesn't matter. Can I have your response on the chat, please? 5 biggest company. You don't have to be right or wrong, just what you think, okay? Okay, Gojek, Sampurna, Novita, Pertamina, right? All right. We've got 3. We need maybe 2 more. And we can continue. Thank you, Pak Solihan. Gudang Garam. All right. Another one. We need just 1 more. Right. Yes. All right. And Sinarmas. So if we see from this company, Gojek is like Uber, right? And also like Grab. Gojek is really up and coming. It's not just in Indonesia, it's global. And Sampurna, can you write your answer there? What's the major business sector? I mean, products produced by Sampurna and Jarum, Super and Gudang Garam. What are the products that they produce? And also Tokopedia as well as Sinarmas. Sinarmas, Pak Adi, what is the, cigarette, right? Cigarette for those is cigarette. How about Sinarmas?
Sinarmas is a company for oil, palm oil.
Palm oil, palm oil.
I guess in Malaysia also have
Sinarmas, definitely. Tokopedia, how about Tokopedia?
Tokopedia is online, the biggest online store in Indonesia.
Okay, Tokopedia is an online store, so it's just like Shopee, is it like that?
Yes, it's like Shopee.
Correct, So when we want to understand, maybe some of you are students here, when we want to understand this concept of VUCA, one way of understanding, I hope this framework will help you, is that going back to the title, in the business world. So the business world are made up of organizations. Now, for all of us, we know the names of these companies, which is 3 of them are actually selling cigarettes, and they are big in Indonesia, right? The cigarette company is huge in Indonesia. Is that right? Pak Adi, the cigarette company?
Yes, cigarette company is Indonesia is maybe dominant factory in Sampurna, Gudang Garam, and Jarum Super.
Right.
And Jarum.
Right, Jarum.
That's
right?
the 3 biggest cigarette.
And probably factory in the world also, right? It could probably be in the world now, because Kretek, it joined Kretek, joint venture with maybe Philip and Morris and all that, right? So
Yes.
British Tobacco, yeah, because we know that British Tobacco has shifted from Malaysia to Indonesia, yeah, the factory. So that's one sector. So if we use this framework, how do we use it? So we talk about the cigarette industry, and we talk about how does VUCA, or how do all these four elements impact the cigarette producing sector of Indonesia. Let's contextualize the setting. Yeah. So we know the characters would also be those who own and who manage Gudang Garam. Let's say we take Gudang Garam, right? And then the plot is up to you to write the story. So what's the conflict that the VUCA world can actually impact on Gudang Garam? So when we look at a business entity and we think about volatility, one business model that we can use, or business tool that we can use, let's say when we talk about conflict here, yeah, perhaps we can use PESTLE. Yeah, so we talk about PESTLE, PESTLE. Yeah, so PESTLE. P is political. Is there a political volatility, uncertainty, complexity, or ambiguity in Indonesia? Yeah, for instance, yeah. So if there is, how will it impact Gudang Garam? This is the kind of thinking we can use. Yeah. So when we talk about it, I think again, sorry, Pak Adi, I have to ask you again since you offered the name of that company. Do you think Gudang Garam faces what kind of VUCA issues does Gudang Garam face?
I guess if when we are talking about the volatility, I guess maybe the most problem in the cigar factory is on the cukai. Cukai is the tax
Pajak.
for pajak. Then the tax for the cigar is keep rising. So that's create a problem because their market share is keep cut by a smaller cigar now, just like I was used Sampurna, now I have to change to cheaper cigar because it's very expensive now. This is I guess this is the biggest problem for them.
Okay, tax, yeah. The other thing, now I'll ask you another question. Why is taxation increased again and again within the cigarette industry?
Yes, it's about the health for people. It's about the trend on the people to make people getting more health because cigar is now become something that's not good for our health.
Right.
That's
right. So cigarette, can I say when I look at PESTLE, when I look at conflict of cigarette, can we say that there will be social issues related to smoking? There will be economic issues related to smoking, right? Is that correct? Yeah, because society would be becoming more health conscious, and then economically, it's actually expensive to smoke, or is it not expensive to smoke? When you think about it, of course, there are health costs and social costs relating to smoking. Yeah, but that's the business setting. Yeah. So going back to, let's try another company just now. Yeah. Let's see who has answered. Okay, Pap. Okay. Majnun from Nusa Putra University. You talk about Sinar Mas, yeah? Let's talk about Sinar Mas. So the business world here, let's look at the world of Sinar Mas. What are the VUCA issues faced by Sinar Mas? That is the oil palm industry, right? Yes. Okay. Pak Majnun, yeah? Pak Majnun. Can you please answer? Yeah. Yes, Pak Majnun, are you around? Okay, I cannot get Pak Majnun. So let me go to Pak Priyadi. Pak Priyadi, are you around?
Yes. I'm
Yeah, Pak Priyadi, you talk about Tokopedia, yeah, being in the IT industry, correct? What are some VUCA issues that's faced by your Tokopedia?
I think Tokopedia the face VUCA with traditional issue. Some society is they need itu ya apa new coming technology.
Okay,
I think
Alright.
that's it.
that's it. That's a VUCA issue. Yeah, okay, let's ask the rest as well, Pak Priyadi. What are some VUCA issues faced by, sorry, Pak Majnun. What maybe you can type here, what are some VUCA issues faced by Tokopedia or Sinar Mas? Maybe you all can write there. Let's see what are the answers here, okay? By either Sinar Mas or Gojek also, we can use the three other example, Gojek, Sinar Mas, and what was the other one? Tokopedia. Yeah, can you all write your answers here? Boleh tulis ya di sini. Nyatakan. Yeah. Or if you want to speak, it's also okay. Otherwise, write on the chat. What are VUCA issues faced by the three companies that has been stated? Sinar Mas, Tokopedia, and what's the other one? Gojek. Gojek. Anyone? Okay. Forest as resource of pulp. Yeah. So resources, scarcity of resource can be, right? Yeah. Pulp is used for, oh, okay. You mean for palm oil, yeah? Okay. Any more? Yeah. Oh, pulp and paper as well. Yeah? Okay, you can write on, yes.
For Sinarmas
Yeah.
is a conglomerate.
Yes.
It have a business just like mostly is
Mhm.
a palm oil, but also have a pulp and paper. Also have a mobile phone, just like a smartphone for mobile phone, and it
Okay.
have also a bank. And this is a
Okay.
conglomerate. So it have
Yeah.
a lot of product,
Yeah.
a lot of factory,
Business,
company.
units. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So you see, that's a very interesting statement. Yeah. When a conglomerate as a business, they will have different business sectors, right? So when they have different business sectors, you will have different VUCA issues. So whatever VUCA issues that you have, it will all be, when you have a VUCA issue, it will lead to conflict of sorts, yeah, or threats, we call it in strategic management, yeah. So, and you know who the players are. If it's a conglomerate, then they will probably have different CEOs for each of the business unit, right? So the characters within the, let's say for Sinar Mas would be different in the point, from the point of view of the management, but also the consumers, the customers, they are also different. Yeah, so when we want to look at VUCA and try to understand how volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity affect us in simple strategic like SWOT analysis, for instance, this would actually go towards the threat, the part of threats. But on the other hand, remember, VUCA and the items, and one threat to a company could be an opportunity to another. So using a strategic mind on how to actually ride the VUCA waves, and just now Dr. Umi has already mentioned how leaders and followers can be more aware of this VUCA element in a company and what can they do about it. She has given us the tips on that. But what I'm doing here is actually to open your mind up because I think Dr. Umi put one element, yeah, she put design thinking. So in design thinking, we have to be able to first understand what are the issues on the ground. So I hope my little presentation here would encourage you all to start thinking, and about issues before we go to the emphatic part of design thinking. Okay, so when we go to the word plot, the plot in a story means that different people in different setting facing different conflicts would have different plots. Jadi plotnya bergantung kepada siapakah yang karakternya, aktornya, atau yang di dalam business setting ini Let me see what's happening here. And then okay, let's see. All right, and the plot that you write for each story, each business story, the VUCA story, will be something, and you have to really analyze what's the situation. You write the story plot. Only after you have the story plot, then you can come up with the resolution, and you can use what ideas that has been given, if it's about leadership, for instance, by Dr. Umi. If it's about finance and you're talking about a conflict in finance, then the resolution would be something along the line of financial, what do you call it, solution. And if it's about legal matters, like how do you say it, no smoking area in one, implementing no smoking area in one kabupaten or whatever in Indonesia, then how will you look for that resolution? Then there'll be a fine system. And then there'll be lots of issues, and the people might not be very happy with that kind of a thing, and it can turn into a political and a social issue. So basically, today, I hope that by using this element of character, conflict, setting, and writing a plot so that you can come to the resolution, you will be able to connect the dots when you face a VUCA situation. VUCA situation. If you look at all these words, they're about almost synonymous. Maknanya it's a threat. It's something quite negative in a way, but remember, negative can be a positive because a threat can be an opportunity. So I would like to point out that strategic direction would be the way you want to go when you connect the dots. So therefore, all the strategic management principles you can apply when you want to analyze VUCA and how to face the business world. How do businesses face the VUCA world? By understanding who are the major players, by understanding what is their situation and their setting, by identifying the conflict based on this VUCA definition, and then writing your plot. Based on your plot, try to come up with a resolution, maybe using design thinking, or that whole process can also mirror design thinking, and using strategic principles. I think you are able to connect the dots. When you can connect the dots, you would be able to face the VUCA world more readily. Okay, is my time up, Novita, or do I have another minute? Okay. All right. I want to ask one question before I leave. Just now, you have already mentioned 5 big companies in Indonesia. Now, I would like at least 3 people. That means you name the smallest company you know within your community. Can you write the name of that company? Small shops or businesses in your community. Once we have 3, I will end my talk for today. Anyone, whether in Indonesia or in Malaysia. Can you write 3? At least 3, yes, someone? Yes. Anyone? Can you write three names? Three names of small companies in your community. Sabana Fried Chicken. Thank you. Much known. Okay, I've never heard of Sabana Fried Chicken, but it sounds delicious. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please keep the names of the company coming. Two more. I need two more. But I would like to conclude that whatever name of company that you put in, VUCA affects every companies. Yeah. Whatever the size, but they impact it in a different way. So what we're trying to say is that what I'm trying to share is that within the whole supply chain of businesses in a country, you are not independent, because what happens in one area or sector of business would impact you somehow. Yeah. So remember, VUCA is something that is useful to be able to sensitize yourself to understanding. But of course, now I think Dr. Umi also mentioned it just now. People are still asking whether VUCA is relevant. It is relevant because VUCA, as I mentioned, you can just rename it as a threat, and every business need to know the threats that they're facing before they can make a decision. But of course, now since we are doing VUCA, I would also like to end by saying that the new acronyms that people are talking about now is BANI, yeah, BANI, which means brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. Yeah. So the word that is two big words, yeah, N and I, non-linear and incomprehensible, especially the last one. This is the major thing that's happening. We just cannot comprehend our world, business or otherwise, as well as what we used before. Okay, with that, thank you very much. PT Refund by Novita. With that, thank you very much for listening. And I hope this simple slide will be able to remind you of how to actually contextualize your narrative. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your material. It's so amazing, and also thank you so much for material from Dr. Umi and Dr. Cordelia. And then we have a last speaker from Stekom University, Mr. Priyadi M.Com. Yeah, for Mr. Priyadi, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Novita.
Yeah.
I will to share my presentation. Is my presentation have shown? Please confirmation. Okay.
Yes, we can see it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Before I start my presentation, I will to say thanks for the previous presentation from Dr. Umi from UNIMED and Dr. Cordelia from University of Kuala Lumpur. I choose the IT-based VUCA topic because I happen to teach and do a lot of work in the IT field. Okay. Let me to introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Priyadi. I am Bachelor of Computer and Master of Computer. I'm from Stekom University on Department Computer System. My profession is lecturer, software engineer, and web programmer. I live in Semarang Regency, Central Java, Indonesia. I am interested on web development, data mining, computer vision, and artificial intelligence, and GIS, or Geographical Information System. Okay, maybe this presentation is a repeat what have said by Dr. Umi, but I will stay to deliver it, yeah, because I hope this description, yeah, of VUCA, yeah, to be understanding and agreement of the use of terms in this my presentation. Okay, the VUCA, yeah, the volatility is a situation that is constantly volatile, dynamic, and change rapidly. And uncertainty, a situation that is uncertain in the future, difficult to predict and often surprising. And complexity, these determining factors that affect an event or change to be more and more diverse in kind. And next, and the last is ambiguity. There is a lot of overlapping meaning and position in the reality that occurs, so that it often causes confusion and in placement or definition. Okay, I think no more explanation. Yeah. Next is the VUCA challenge in general. Because I will talk about VUCA in IT. Before this, I will talk about challenge VUCA in general. The first is volatility, demand speed and accuracy of decision making. If not fast, then change will make us irrelevant. If it's not right, we will most likely get a loss. The next is uncertainty. Demands making decision or action or the basis incomplete or in insufficient information. Next, complexity. The challenge of complexity is action or decision to respond to phenomena become difficult to calculate, but to avoid the highest potential risk and to get the best benefit. The last challenge about VUCA is about ambiguity. Wrong position or defining something will eventually lead to errors in meaning, errors in interpretation, until errors in making the right decision or having minimal risk or wasting the best opportunity. Impact of VUCA in general too. The first impact, volatility, is great fear, lack or courage to take a risk, and reaction that are back to basic. Next, uncertainty, great paralysis through the tendency to overanalyze but in vain. So data analysis become important in this context. If we look at this data analysis, this will relate about IT. Relate us about IT. Next, complexity, create the desire to seek scapegoats or black and white solution to what usually wrong. And the next, ambiguity, lead the confusion, doubt, distrust, and hinder decision making and change. This is the VUCA definition in the US military definition. This definition have delivered to from Dr. Umi. VUCA is concerned with how people perceive the condition under which they make decisions, plan ahead, manage risk, drive change, and solve problem. I think this definition is simple. Yeah. The next is this solution. Yeah, I think have delivered to from from Dr. Cordelia from Kuala Lumpur University. The VUCA solution, VUCA volatility problem. The solution is vision, but the solution step is manage data into valid information. Number 2, immediately communicate, and number 3, clarify direction. The VUCA problem uncertainty. Solution step is find a new perspective, then consider flexibility, then looking back to face the future. The solution is understanding. Next, complexity problem. The solution is clarity. Make something to be clear. The solution step is increase collaboration to understand diversity, find the contextual non-permanent solution, and the last is management and classification of data. This word is related to the IT issue. And the last of VUCA problem is ambiguity. The step solution is one to understand two problem or incident. The next is find pattern of problems or even that are complex and diverse. And the last is finding solution formulas and opportunities for changing patterns. The solutions is understanding. Next, business strategy in dealing or facing with VUCA. Number one is choosing the right managers. To deal with the VUCA situation, companies need to be wise in choosing their executive or managers. The appointment of executive or leaders must be done carefully so that the company's decisions are not wrong. In addition, the selected managers must be able to solve various problems from internal to external. By doing so, it is hoped that the new leaders will be able to lead the company in a better direction. The next is understanding how to work as a team. Companies that have been around for a long time can understand the performance of all their employees. Understanding the skills and systematic of team allows the company to determine the appropriate positions and tasks for each employee so that the employee productivity can be obtained optimally. In addition, the company's comprehensive understanding of its employees also increases work productivity. Next is transformation to digital. I think this is important for this time. In the digital age, business must constantly adapt. Digital transformation allows business to enter more markets and attract new consumers. However, if the company cannot keep up with the times, there will be delays. This also makes it difficult for company to grow. The last about the business strategy in dealing with VUCA is implementation of the training course. To increase productivity and product problem solving skills, companies need to train their employees. If this training is successful, the company can improve the quality of the company's human resource or HR. Next, the role of IT in the VUCA phenomenon. The first is social media. IT have many factors to the VUCA phenomenon. The massive flow of information and communication on social media makes the world seems borderless. Social media is implementation of the much discussed globalization issues from 2000s. Information and communications across fields, across regions, across social strata, and even across generation occurs continuously on social media. So that the process of cultural change and change in perceptions continues to occur in society. The use of terms with different meaning in each language or different social spheres also adds to the diversity and ambiguity in society. The next about role of IT in the VUCA phenomenon. IT technology industry competition. Industry that always want to make the profit require them to develop very quickly. Innovation and change have become their daily issues to be able to continue well in the IT industry. As well a result, we continues to encourage the VUCA phenomenon to always be present in our environment. Next, what in the IT universe is useful for dealing with VUCA? Number one is information management. The information management will very helpful in processing something volatile or volatility. The next, number two, is data visualization. Data visualization will help us to have a future vision of uncertain pattern of change. The uncertainty of the change sometimes makes it difficult for us to understand the pattern and direction of the change. So with the data visualization, it will be easier to us to understand and the pattern and direction of this change. Next, data clustering and data classification. Data clustering and data classification will help us see more easily to complex situation. With data clustering or data classification, complex data will be seen more simply so that we can determine which ones are important and which ones are not too important. And the last is artificial intelligence will help us. This will help us in making decisions about ambiguous things because we can set artificial intelligence to calculate trends toward data patterns that tend to overlap or ambiguous situation. Next, the next presentation is the next slide is about applied application that can help to deal with VUCA. The applied application maybe make us to be clear about how IT make us more ready to facing with VUCA more better. Okay. The first is ERP. ERP is a previous from enterprise resource planning. With this application, we will be easy and systematic in managing resource. Losses and errors in managing resource can be reduced. The next is CRM. CRM is customer relationship management. With this application, it will be easy for us to manage diverse and many customers. Next, still about applied application that can help us to facing or deal with VUCA. This is SCM. SCM is supply chain management. This application will help us in managing the supply management. Actually, there are many other applied application that can be used in managing our business, especially in dealing with VUCA or facing with VUCA. However, currently most are integrated in various ERP applications. Even in several ERP applications, many have included various data processing facilities and artificial intelligence. The next is IT skills to learn in facing with VUCA. There are software about software is software engineering, software programming, and about business system is accounting information system or management information system, and about data management is computer statistic or data mining. The next is computer vision and networking, included routing, hosting and proxy. And next is artificial intelligence, computer electronic or hardware architecture. We can choose one or several sub-skills in the IT field. We don't have to master all expertise in the IT field. The reason is to learn areas of IT expertise require a lot of energy and times. If we learn everything, our learning will be probably not be deep. So we better some sub skills, learning some sub skills. Okay, my presentation is complete. Thanks very much. I think Miss Novita can control again this presentation.
Okay, thank you for all speakers today for giving information. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to question and answer session. If you will ask something, you can raise in your hand or you can write in room chat. Sorry. Okay, this I will read for first question from audience in the YouTube. Yeah, this is question for our speaker, Mr. Priyadi, and then Professor Dr. Umi and Professor Dr. Cordelia Mansur. Yeah, this is for question. What are the four negative impacts of future on business? Thank you. So for our speaker, yeah, maybe we will first answering. Thank you.
Maybe I can try to answer. Yeah, negative impacts on business. Yeah, I think there are numerous impacts of VUCA on businesses. Yeah, when we look at volatility, etc., they are not negative in themselves. They are just happening of threats or challenges in changes. Let's say a political scenario. Yeah, let's say in Ukraine when the war starts. Yeah, so businesses will definitely have very negative impact because of the uncertain political scenario. In fact, it's the not only uncertain, yeah, when governments destabilize, when there are lots of changes in the way things are going to be managed, yeah, because there's a very huge threats of security. It is at the national level, it even for an individual where fighting is taking place. Yeah, so the negative in terms of your economy, therefore the businesses will lose their money. In terms of social impact, you might lose your customer, right? And then in terms of technology, yeah, if you look at technology and you have bought a certain technology features in your installed in your company, that would also have a negative impact on the technology that you use. And of course, the worst thing is you can actually go bankrupt, and you can, let's say, if the threat is so big and your company is situated in a war zone, it's no longer negative. It is it's a catastrophe. So that's the extreme negative impact that can be there. But if you are so aware of, in other words, we are trying to say that there are risks, VUCA risks that are that you can mitigate, and there are some that you cannot. Yeah. So when we look at negative impact, there is a spectrum to negative impact there. Yeah. So I hope it answers it. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Dr. Cordelia. Maybe anything else from another speaker?
Okay, maybe I would like to add on a bit. Okay, actually there are no specific what we call it resolution that can be applicable to all kind of challenges that happen in business. Maybe the business in the sector of telecommunication, they involve with another type of VUCA. It depends with the other type of industry. Maybe in the Ministry of Health, maybe they will dealing with another challenges. Therefore, there will be no any rigid solution, okay, that can be applicable to all. So it all depends on the level of VUCA that have been faced by that organization. And of course, the personality and the experience of leader also might bring and lead the organization differently. And I guess as a leader, we just try to make the best and accurate, even though we cannot ensure that all of our action are the good one, but at least we try to minimize the disadvantages to all our committee members or community members. I think that is my view.
Okay. Ya, for Mr. Priyadi mungkin ada yang mau ditambahkan?
I'm agree with previous answer. VUCA is not negative, but it's a challenge. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you for answering. And then we have question in a Zoom chat. This is from Akmaluddin. What solution will the company do in the face of such as unpredictable future? Thank you.
Maybe I'll start again just to get the ball rolling. Yeah. The solutions that company do in the VUCA would depend on how they actually identify the risks. Yeah. So risk can be identified either at a very, if you're a conglomerate, for instance, if you have a conglomerate like Sinarmas, then when VUCA happens, at the corporate level, they can actually make some decision, yeah, right up from policy, SOP, operational, functional decisions, yeah, to address the VUCA. And of course, as you know, like the finance department of any company, whether it's a conglomerate, a small company, whatever, what solution they need to take would depend on their assessment of the vocatelity, yeah, maybe you can have that word, yeah, of those threats coming in into them. But as we mentioned, there is a range to it. Yeah, it's not like VUCA and VUCA. You have a whole range to it. So people are able to, whatever they can mitigate, they can. It's and a good example of how people do not know how to come up with a solution immediately was the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. We were caught by surprise. And we have to see how different countries at the country level, they try to contain the spread of the COVID. And then the businesses are then led by these solutions provided by the governments who actually also engage all the different sectors to come up with the solution. So when we talk about it, some VUCA issues are easily manageable at the lower level, but some, as we say, could go up to the country and the world level. So that's how the solutions would come in place, and we react to those depending on our capacity and capability as a business organization. Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your answering, Dr. Cordelia. Maybe from another speaker will put any answer or nothing. Okay, I will to the next question. This is my question. I will asking. I read a news that many country will experience a recession next year. Okay, just like last year, COVID many just same like I'm sorry, just same last year COVID many business closed, and for now we are entering a new world, namely future. Will the impact of recession in the business world be the same as a COVID? And also how do we overcome it? Or is it possible with the future concept maybe? Thank you. This is for my answer. Thank you. You can hear my voice. Oh, okay.
Dr. Umi, would you like to take that on? Or Dr. Priyadi?
Okay lah, I highlighted just now, VUCA is still applicable, okay, until now, and maybe by next year or maybe in 10 years more, instead of the concept of BANI, which have been highlighted by Prof. Cordelia just now, VUCA is still applicable because we are always facing with the volatility, ambiguity, uncertainty, and we cannot 100% predict what will be going on. So that's why there are no any accurate and right answer. That will all depend on our experience and depend on our input in order to make sure that the sustainability of business and also the performance of business is not dropped at all. So the element of VUCA is something that need to be study and understand, and also the way to respond to that element of VUCA, especially when we talk about another 4 BUCA regarding to make clear about the vision in order to try lessen the rate of volatility, and then understanding okay about what are the action that we need to be that we need to take in the long or short term. It is some of the remedies in order to overcome the uncertainty. And the third one, the clarity, even though we are facing with the multiple factor of complexity, so try to grab as many precise as we can in order to make the problem clear as clear as we can, right? Even though we are facing with the complexity, try to find the priority of the action that we need to handle first, okay, in the long and short term. And also regarding to the ambiguity, we know all our ambiguity, what will happen in the near future, nobody can expect, right? But we need to prepare ourselves to increase the level of our agility. So it all can be again based on our knowledge, but sometimes the knowledge itself cannot be 100% make sure we can fit to face with that challenges. But that is the best that we can do by preparing and understanding of the word VUCA in the form of the challenges and also the responses. So that is the best that we do, and maybe experience of ourselves and our close one also might shaping on how we make the decision in the future. That is from my perspective.
Yeah, can I give one answer also, Novatri? Yeah, you know, when we talk about recession, it's a big word. It's like VUCA, we don't understand it, incomprehensible for many people in the world, except the economists. Yeah, so they will come with their monetary policies, their fiscal policy, etc. So it's a very big word. But I would like to just share this thing, yeah, when it's not really an answer to an answer, but it's some kind of, when we have recession, a lot of our it can translate into financial problems for many people on the ground. Yeah, some people are so poor they don't understand recession. My life has always been like this. So whether it's a recession or not, we are resilient, not because we are rich, but because we are poor. Yeah. So anyway, for most of the people within a spectrum of income, I would like to actually not give an answer, but give an advice on the importance of actually focusing on financial wellness. Yeah, I do a bit of research on financial wellness. That means when recession comes in, it is time for us to really take care of our little monetary resources that we have. And we must always remember even the financial wisdom in the past, like 7 good years, 7 not so good years. Yeah. So here my answer would be in the form of an advice for everyone to take care of their finances and look into financial wellness. Yeah. And maybe for us at the university, we can actually do more programs on financial wellness so that the recession will not be a very hard time for as many people as possible. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering, Professor Umi and also Professor Cordelia. And this is a question in a Zoom room chat in a Zoom from Akmaluddin. Does technological assistant have an important role in dealing with future? Thank you.
I think Dr. Priyanti, that may be for you, like, right? Technology.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will try to answer this question. Yeah. I'm sorry, my English is maybe not good. The center of UKISU is about technology. The first UKISU blow up on public is technology is the center issue. So does the technological assistant have an important role in dealing with VUCA? I think yes. We must learn more about technology. The specific is IT. Agar kita, agar kita nanti bisa itu ya menghadapi VUCA dengan lebih baik ya. Facing VUCA for better. I think like this.
Okay. Go ahead, Miss.
Dari saya sudah selesai. Silahkan mungkin tanggapan dari presentator lain.
Yeah, I have one example. Yeah, when we talk about technological assistant, I have a student based in Singapore, and they use technology to actually predict the sentiments of students towards services provided by the university. So I think yes, yeah, technological assistant is growing more and more as we advance in technology, and it can be applied in a little parts of every business sector. I think yes, definitely. Yeah, that's my sharing.
Okay, thank you for our speaker for answering. I think we don't have number of question again from audience in Zoom and YouTube. For the last question, may I asking again? If future is more dominant in using technology, and many business people seem to be old, will they be left behind by current business trend because they don't know about technology? Is it possible without is it possible without technology concept maybe? Thank you.
Okay, can I try to respond to that? Okay, as for me, all of us cannot run away from the technology. Even though, like I mentioned before, I'm not from the area of technology, but I cannot run away to start learning on technology, even though, you know, today, since the pandemic have coming and change all of the world, if you notice that not only the younger generation, but our older generation also nowadays tend to be use the mobile phone, e-wallet, right? Sometimes mobile, we maybe did not notice about this, but actually it is happen. There are a lot of evidence showing that we are engaging with technology like mobile, what we call it, online shopping, online doctor, online ticket booking, online Grab, food delivery, and so forth. Therefore, even though we might accept that our younger generation is more fast in adapting the technology, but for example, my father also, 76 years old now, need to force himself to engage with all this digital. So I don't think that that is very hard for us to apply this technology. But of course, for those who are engaged directly with IT, like Dr. Priyadi, their work become more challenging because the technology is continue upgrading day by day. So we are just the user, but those who are putting themselves in developing the infrastructure, that one is more what we call it, very high challenges among that kind of people. I think that is my perception. So mau atau tidak mau, memang kita terpaksa untuk berhadapan dengan dunia yang penuh dengan teknologi. So digital is the way to go in the future. I think that is my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Professor Umi. Yeah, maybe I think we don't have no more question again. Maybe can we take a picture again for documentation? Ya, bagi para semua peserta mungkin bisa dibantu untuk menyalakan kamera karena akan melakukan sesi foto lagi. Oke, saya hitung dari 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Okay, finally, we come to the end of webinar today. We would like to say thanks again for Dr. Unang Adlison and Associate Professor Dr. Umi Naira Sarai and Associate Professor Dr. Cordelia Masion and the last, Dr. Priyati. Yeah, thank for their information. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our audience, and I hope we can meet again in other event in the future. Also, I would like to thank all the participants for attending this webinar. Okay, finally, we come to the end of webinar today. We will like to say thanks again for all speakers for their information. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our audience, and I hope we can meet again in other event in the future. Thank you so much for all participants and
Thank you
for our
for-
speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Dr. Umi, Dr. Cordelia, and all participants. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Unang.
thank you to all, especially for Stecom management to letting me be a part of this a very great event. Okay, hope to see you all again, guys, and take care, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Happy,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
happy unbooklying. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Good evening. Thank you.